Welcome back to Etc. Podcast. I'm your host, Victor, on my co-host, Mark. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Doing amazing. It's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. The weekend is here. Weather is looking better.
It is. The sun.
It's a bit windy, but
Yeah,
it's happening though.
It's brighter out later in the day.
Yes,
the
daylight
Sunday
savings,
clocks are
yep.
moving forward.
Yep.
Forward, back. They're changing. I think forward
I think it's forward. Yeah.
because it'll be like
Yeah.
it'll be like 7. It's
'Cause
apparently
usually,
there's no.
because people would say you get an extra hour of sleep.
Yeah,
so
but we're losing
therefore-
an hour,
Exactly. So therefore, it's going
forward.
Yeah.
and the sun will set after 7 p.m. starting
Yes.
this Sunday.
It's so crazy because like sun will start setting at like 4:35. But the fact that like this little change ends up being like, oh, past 7, it's like, how is that big
Yeah.
gap? Like, it's just so weird. But yeah,
I'm not complaining though.
no, yeah, I'm not complaining either. Like I said to you the other time, I'm tired of the cold a little bit now. I usually like it, but now I'm getting tired of it because it was on and off snow. Now we're getting a lot of that wind, and it's kind of annoying me.
Yeah.
Blowing like crazy.
What's been annoying me, especially today, I was like, yo, like every week I plan out what I'm gonna wear on the pod. Now it's all this cold weather. I'm stuck. I'm like, I just got to do hoodie and coats.
Yeah, exactly.
It restricts me.
exactly.
So now, and then I'm gonna be complaining that it's too hot to be wearing clothes anyway in a couple of months. So
yeah,
it's just-
exactly.
I used up all my hoodie combos, all my cardigans, my sweaters.
Yeah, repeats have to happen at this point.
So I'm hoping for it to get warm soon so I can let some of that go. But t-shirt today, hoodies in the corner. But yeah. So did you start Quora?
Yes, I did. I'm
Yeah?
gonna give you the big update, man.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I've been binging.
Okay. How
been
far
binging.
did you finish the season, or are you still like
Bro, I'm
working?
on season 3.
You on season 3?
Yes,
All right,
I am
hold
on
on, time out,
season
time out.
3. I am on season 3, halfway through season 3. So I'm about to
So you
finish
almost
it
there.
low key. Yeah.
All right. Initial, you haven't finished, but initial thoughts.
Initial
and everything,
thoughts,
knowing what I told you.
Initial thoughts. From my perspective, as far as like when I first was like looking at it a little bit way back then and how I perceived it before, completely different now. I have a lot of appreciation for it now. And I'm just like, oh, it's not that bad. I just think, again, it was more of my mindset of like, it's not Aang.
Yeah.
Where's Sokka? All this stuff, because you're just like, from when they made Korra, there was like that big gap of like, oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender. So then when you see that, you're like, oh my gosh, like it's a new show. Maybe they're a bit older, all this.
And then
Completely different turn. It was just something different. But still, I was expecting to be like, oh, maybe we'll still see some old characters. And then you find out like literally all of them are like basically dead. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
there's still some cameos.
no,
but
yeah, for sure. But it's just like, again, you don't got that dynamic anymore. So it's like you kind of have to like live with the fact like these are the new cast, it's the new people, like get with them. And yeah, I felt like at first I was just like, oh, I'm just watching to watch. And then eventually I started really getting into it. I started really like understanding the characters. Bolin, he actually is pretty funny. Bolin just be saying some
Mako,
stuff. Yeah, Mako.
Asami.
Yeah, Asami, yeah, she's in there and she's doing her thing. Sometimes she annoys me because like she's cool, but then you realize she really don't got no powers. So she just be showing up with like an electric hand. And I'm just like, okay, but they made her better, like good with the idea of like, oh, like I know self-defense. So you're like, okay, I guess she can, hang with us.
We got Amon. Season 1 Amon is the bloodbender.
Oh yeah.
We got
that
Tarlok.
True.
Season
Tarlok 2. Yeah, right now.
Now we got Zahir.
Zahir is right now. Yes, that's where I'm going through right now with all the other escapees from this whole like they were trying to capture the airbender from long ago. Season prior was the Convergence.
Yeah, the uncle, basically.
Yeah, the uncle. I again with a B. I just can't remember the whole full name.
Was it not Tarlok?
No, that's not Tarlok. Tarlok is
Amon's dad, isn't it?
no, it's his brother.
His brother.
It's his brother. Yeah, I was just trying to understand where did he come from though.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly like where he came from.
Korra's
he
uncle.
was a part of the council in Republic City.
Yes.
It was like 4 of them. It was along with
Doesn't matter. It's the people.
Aang's son.
Oh, Tenzin.
Tenzin. Yeah, I'm like, why? I'm like, I've been watching the show like crazy, and all the names are leaving me. Yeah, Tenzin. Yeah, he was on the council. Found out it was his brother. We were like, oh snaps, that was crazy. And now then I ended up going past towards the Convergence. That John was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty cool because you saw a lot of cameos in that one. And just like, I felt like it was cool because you really like got to understand a little bit more of like the history of the like Airbender, or not Airbender, just avatars in general.
You get a lot more.
And you saw the full, like from the start, the first Airbender, it was like Wan.
Avatar Wan.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, that's just pretty cool because like the way the Earth looked, I guess back then, just how things were looking was pretty cool. And just how he got his powers, the lion turtles. And they're like, oh, there's different lion turtles. Yeah. You just got to go to them. And each lion turtle had a whole, and it was just crazy to think just like their way of living was like, oh, they only assumed like, okay, this is where we live. This is what it is. Like we can't go out because of like,
it's dangerous out there.
It's dangerous. So we're just going to be stuck in this little bubble. Meanwhile, this one person, although he got banished, which was Wan, finds out like, yeah, you can survive in this. But again, I feel like it was mainly only because he had the power. I feel like if he didn't, he'd be really helpless. But yeah, ended up learning how to live with it. Became the Avatar after getting all the powers. And then that whole thing with just light and dark, you know, usual
they tried
stuff.
to figure it out.
Yeah, so that happened. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, during that, you just found how, that was the first season where she figured out how to airbend. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And just seeing the whole dynamic.
Jinora. How do you feel about Jinora? Tenzin's kid.
Oh yeah, because she was able. Yeah,
Milo's fucking hilarious.
Milo's low-key annoying sometimes because he just be coming out of nowhere saying stuff. But it's like he's a kid, so you can't really get mad at him about it. He's starting to like grow on me more because in the beginning I'm just like, who are you? Like, why are you over here being a nuisance every 2 seconds?
Where exactly have you left off? Where are you at currently? Because I don't want to say anything that's gonna like.
Right now, where I just last was when. Okay. Yeah. The very last episode I just watched was when Jinora and Kai were kind of captured by these bison poachers. And then at the end they freed them. And then Tenzin was just like, oh yeah, it seems like everybody's growing up because then the baby bison learned how to fly up in the air. Yeah. Just like that's where it ended. So right now, technically where I'm at, the prisoners, escapees, kind of infiltrated the metal, I guess I would say, village, area up. Hello. Hey. Hi. Okay.
There's a toddler that just walked up to the door.
Oh no, you can't come in. Oh yeah, you're locked. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry, bye. Yeah, the metal area where you find out that it's Toph's daughters and what's her face is actually Toph's daughter too, the chief in Republic City. And there was that whole feud with them, but now they're starting to learn how to love each other.
Of course.
Figuring out their past, getting over it, learning how to live. So right now, like I think I don't know if it was the same episode, but yeah, they infiltrated and you found out that I think his name was like Ashua or something. It was like her assistant, kind of. Okay. The bull who can tell if you're lying or not. You find out that he's the one who was like the rat or the mole of letting them in because they're like, how did they get in? And found out that it was him. They tried to confront him. He ended up leaving. So now we're like kind of on the hunt where the sister of Toph or the daughter of Toph, she was like, oh, take this key, go and try to find them. And then they like.
Did you meet Opal?
Yeah.
Opal's cool.
Yeah, Opal, she's a new airbender. So that's kind of a big thing too. People are learning how to new airbenders.
Because of that gap of the spirit world.
I was like, yo, that's pretty tough.
And then Aang's dream has been like revived.
Exactly. Yeah.
A bunch of people figuring out that they're airbenders.
And that was a little rough though, because them in the beginning trying to recruit people, low key before it started happening, I was thinking, I'm like, I think they're gonna come into a little bit of an obstacle here with them being like, oh yeah, you're an airbender. Now you got to leave your whole life.
And you got to be a monk.
Come with us. Yeah. And the first person they came to was like, what are you talking about?
Like,
They're like,
cool.
oh, you're going to come with us. He's like, I was just going to use my airbending to go and build my farm again. I'm not leaving. He's like, I got my family. He's like, oh, I'm sure your wife will understand. Meanwhile, she's right next to him. And she's like, no, I don't. I don't understand. And then the kids are like, Daddy, where are you going? I was like, yeah, this is... Doesn't seem like it's gonna work out.
It's complicated stuff. Like
because like I thought about it. I was like, the only way it would make sense for the most part is when like it makes sense again, like from an airbender who was like first born as an airbender, you train them from when they're little.
Mhm.
You're taking somebody who just figured out that they could airbend at the age of 40. Again, they had their whole life already
Yeah.
figured out in a sense. Like you can't just expect them to be like, okay, yeah, sure, we're out.
Like even Aang, he never knew his parents.
yeah,
Like he was just raised by monks, and he
Mhm.
found out when he was like 11, 12 that
Yeah.
he was gonna be the Avatar.
yeah.
So it's like imagine, like you said, like imagine just being a full grown adult and just coming
Exactly.
across these powers and not knowing how to use them. And
Yeah, because at first you're like, okay, yeah, this is cool, this is dope. But if you just have somebody coming at your door and just being like, hey,
Mm.
it's time to go. Now you gotta shave your head and learn how to meditate on this tall mountain. You're just like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
And that was funny too, because they had the last episode, they were like, oh yeah, shaving your head, helps you with the wind and aerodynamics. And then at the like 2 seconds after, they're like, oh yeah, just to let you know, it's all a choice. And he's like, wait, what? Because he already had shaved his head off. But then later he ended up like it helped
Using
him out
it,
when they
yeah.
shot a net behind. He was just feeling the tingle. He's like, oh, oh, that's dope.
But yeah, all right. I'm gonna let you finish it before we have a full on discussion.
Don't
but
worry, yeah. By next time we record, 100%. I'm not gonna lie. Like you tell me to watch it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it like my mission to
Mhm.
finish it. I'm not gonna lie. First, I think the day of when you told me to go and watch it, I think I might have finished the full first season. I'm not lying to you.
which is low key probably some will argue the best one. Like it had the best villain.
Yeah, true. It had the best villain as far as just like it was a lot of complicated stuff happening. It was a lot of like risks too, and like of like what was going on.
Mhm.
Like you felt like, okay, like this man can take away my powers.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yo, I'm scared.
And it was
I'm
intended
scared.
that was intended to be the entire show.
And that's crazy.
Until they, like,
'cause that was,
audible last minute.
14 episodes.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And
And then his brother
yeah,
straight
true.
murked on that
Wait, what do you mean?
the boat.
Yeah, true. He was like, yeah, just like old times. And I
He
thought
felt
it was,
all of that.
yeah.
He knew that was gonna happen. He just
Yeah,
let
yeah.
him. He just let his brother do that to him.
Yeah. I was like, dang, man. Wild. I was expecting him to like shield himself.
Yeah,
Like he
no.
knew it was gonna happen, and he was just like, nah, I'm just gonna boom.
Crazy, but yeah. Well, wait till you have. I want you to have all the information in front of you before I bring up the things that people are saying.
Yeah. But also before we end this topic, I kind of felt like what you were getting at a little bit when you were saying the seasons at the end kind of feel like they're everywhere. I get that, but now like as I'm watching it again, it must be like different if you're watching it from when it actually is airing and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But it does just feel like one of those shows where it's like every season it's just something bigger or something more drastic to fight against. It's kind of weird though, because the last season too kind of seems a little bit more where it would end, just because it had so much to do with like the spirit world
And explaining
Avatar,
everything and cutting off
everything.
the past lives.
And I was just like, this has to be. It seems
Yeah.
like if I was to end the show, this is what it would kind of
But that's
look
what
like.
they told them. They were like, "Yo,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one more season," and then they were about to finish that one. They're like, "Oh, just kidding."
Yeah, but I gotta give it to them. After like making it seem like it would end, they do such a good job of just kind of bringing it
Mhm.
around, because now it's like, oh, spirits are now living with us. Now we got to kind of deal with it, manage that. Next thing you know, airbenders are around. So it's like it gets you into it where it's like, oh, okay, I'm understanding why this is so important to like have this keep going, you know?
There's so much that I wanted to, but I don't want to like. I want to do this properly when we have this conversation, because there's pro
Problem.
bending and then the business
Bro Bending
guy
was
and
cool.
Julie.
Oh, yeah, Varric.
Yeah.
Yeah, Varric is pretty funny.
But a bunch of other stuff. So I'm glad you're at least enjoying it for what it is. And at least it gives you some prep for the new series that'll come out
Yeah,
next
it
year.
definitely does. Yeah.
Oh. But hello, now she has a coat on. You can't come in here.
yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
can't- yeah,
Um,
she'll know. Hopefully.
I feel like this is such a hard like topic switch up. But have you heard about this the situation with Caleb Wilson, the student from Southern University?
I have.
It was like a hazing situation.
Oh, I actually haven't. No.
Um,
What the heck? That's terrible.
yeah, so like the past week, I think it was like the end of February. So yeah, about a week ago. Stop. This is a very serious topic. So no.
Sorry, right?
But for y'all that don't know, Caleb Wilson is a student at Southern University who was pledging. I forget the exact name of the frat, so I'm not gonna like misname a frat. But he was pledging to join the fraternity.
It's a guy.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Caleb Wilson and
Oh, Caleb. I
yeah.
thought you said Kayla.
No, no, no,
You
no.
just said it fast, so I kind of thought it said Caleb.
My fault. But yeah, he pledged to join this fraternity, and they were doing obviously their like initiations as like usual you know, as you hear from fraternities and sororities would normally do. So he pledged with them, and sometimes, you know, some fraternities and sororities are different. Greek life can be different. Sometimes it's just like you join, you pay your dues, and then maybe they'll actually do community service, and it's like, or something along those lines to join the club, you know. Then there are others where there's kind of a dark side where they kind of do hazing or like punishments or like rush week and things of that nature. So that's what happened here, and he, due to what the hazing was, he ended up passing away. And now there's basically a bunch of investigation going on about how exactly he passed away, who's responsible, and so on and so forth. Since that initial death, he got dropped. Like, that hazing happened, he got dropped off at the hospital by like the fraternity, and like they just left him there, and he passed away. Now, since that initial happened in February 26th, I believe, it's come out that initially they were like, oh, what they said first is that we were playing basketball at the park, and he got hit in the chest with a basketball, and then basically like he was like unresponsive, kind of like you remember in the NFL when that player Damar Hamlin got tackled in the chest and he went to like cardiac arrest. Yeah, they were trying to claim that something similar like that happened. A couple days passed from that after they found out that he died. The truth came out that what they were doing is actually in a warehouse with like 8 other pledges, like guys that were trying to join. And they were lining up with, I guess, actual members of the frat, and they were just punching them in the chest with a boxing glove. I'm not going to try and act like that makes any sense. I'm going to continue the story. So they were each lining up and like punching these pledges in the chest with boxing gloves as a point of like pain initiation, like jumping them in. And they punched Caleb in the chest. And I'm guessing the way that it hit him a certain way, or like, it's very sensitive. Like, same thing would happen to Damar Hamlin. Like, if you hit the chest a certain way and with enough impact, as well as in like in a certain instance of its heartbeat, it can cause you to go into shock. Yeah. So
it's like when you sneeze too.
Yeah.
Like
so kind of like, yeah, like it interrupted the heart beating when he punched him in the chest, which caused him to go into cardiac arrest or something along those lines where he was unresponsive. So that came out, and obviously now that means that's a lot of trouble because they were like in an abandoned warehouse. They were not at a basketball court. They initially lied to begin with. They left them out to die. And yeah, since that happened as well, one of the people involved turned themselves in with their attorney, and now it's just this ongoing investigation about, you know, what goes on and what happened and why they basically, I mean, unintentionally committed murder. Very, very crazy. Nobody called the cops in this situation. They just kind of like, they were panicked and just left them there. It was very unfortunate. I believe he was 20 years old or so. He was part of like the marching band or something along those lines. He was like, it was like a group called like the Human Beatbox or something like that. They have at the school in Louisiana. And he was like a great student. Just very unfortunate, but it just made me want to have that discussion because like I'm about to be 4 years removed from getting my degree at Temple. And like I've seen people pledge. I've seen like the weird shit that they make people do. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody or know anybody who's in a frat.
No.
But I remember seeing like my freshman year, especially seeing guys walk around with like bibs around their neck or like walking around with like a dildo or just like weird shit like that. Which honestly, like, I don't get it. It's like weird humiliation, but that's not as harmless as like punching or whatever. Like obviously, like it's just one of those things that I guess they just find funny. I've also heard like other crazier ones where it's just like borderline like sexual assault kind of things done to the pledges. Or there was one, I think it was at Temple. I'm gonna vaguely say it, but I think this was at Temple where somebody like stuck a mouse up their behind. So it's just like it gets very strange, and I don't understand like the purpose of it, because like obviously in cases like this somebody passed away and it's very unnecessary. Like things like that happen often, you know. Like I think about like sports. It's like, oh, if you're a rookie like on a team, it happens before where like, oh, the rookie takes the whole team out to dinner and the rookie has to pay. And that's just kind of like rookie dues. Or like rookies will like carry around the other like the veterans players' bags, or just little things. It's like, it's not, you're not beating them up, but it's just like, oh, like this the new guy, like like everybody who was a rookie had to do it, so now you have to do it, kind of thing.
You gotta pick on them.
Or like saran wrap their car, just like stuff that like, yeah, it's annoying, but nobody's
like, oh god,
yeah, like it's just like it's a prank. It's not gonna hurt anybody, but like when you get to this degree, it gets kind of like extreme and scary. And I don't get the point of like, I never understood the point of frats to begin with because you have to pay to be in them, pay dues.
Yeah.
You live in that house, which a lot of the times it just smell like straight ass because college guys, most of them just don't know or care to pick up after themselves.
Hygiene is terrible, yeah.
And then you have to go through these crazy like humiliation rituals in a sense to even be a part of it.
Sure.
And then to just consider yourselves friends.
And not to mention the idea of just like if there's parties, like you got to deal with everything.
Mhm.
It's not so much like, okay, yeah, I'm in this group, like we can hang out, like if I want to hang out, you know, but it's like, no, like you're kind of like involved like almost 24/7. Like if there's something happening, like you need to be there, all this, and you can't really like, so yeah, it's a little weird when it comes to like frats, like you said.
And obviously you get to be a part of the parties, and like the main initial thing of like frats, at least in my head, is like it's not only like that aspect of it where you get to live somewhere and you know you have all that other stuff, but like the connections of it, like the networking part of it, because a lot of the times those things run deep. Where it's like guys from previous members, they're now in the workforce, like they have high ranking positions. So like it's like, oh, I used to pledge whatever frat. It's like, oh, me too. Like I'll hook you up with a job, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I understand that aspect, but I don't think it's ever to that degree we have to do all of that. Because like I never even considered or joined the frat, but there would be frat parties, and it'd be like, all right, when I was at Temple, like, oh, you know, Pi Lam is throwing a party tonight. We'll go to Pi Lam. And like Pi Lam was cool. Shout out Pi Lam. I don't know what they up to now, but Pi Lam was mad cool. That was my spot. But they moved their house from where they used to be at. But point I'm making, some other frats were not that way. They would be like very much assholes, and they would only let girls in, or like they would look at guys and be like, yo, like get the fuck out of here. I don't know you. Who do you know here? Like it's just very like cliquey type of shit. And in my head, it's like, you not like if they wanted to be with you, like why you gotta exclude other guys to be away from the party? Like I don't get what the purpose is. Like
that doesn't make
you're not
sense.
the man just because you like block everybody else out. Like if you was really the man, like let everybody get their shot, and if you get her, then you like
sure, yeah. You're kind of like
it's almost like
it's kind of like
DEI hire kind of thing. Like you just trying to keep people out.
It's kind of like you got handed the win. In a sense. So you know,
it's like why block out? Like are you really suited for that? Like now I'm trying to blend this into all this DEI shit that's going on, because are you really the best person for that job? Is it really the best position or the most qualified person if you're blocking out other people from getting a fair shot?
Yeah.
And that's where like my shit does not make sense to me. Like none of that makes sense. So I don't get like where people's mindset is from doing that. But frats in general, I don't fucking get it. You get to pay to make friends. I did not join a frat. I had plenty of friends, went to plenty of parties. I didn't have to do any of that. Nobody had to beat me up or anything. My counter argument at the very least is like, at least make them do something productive out of it. If you're gonna make them like, oh, if you want to be a part of this frat, you have to do like 100 hours community service, or like do some type of fundraiser and make X amount of money. Like
that's how you would keep a frat open.
Yeah.
You know, like doing stuff like that.
At least good press, but not let's all beat this guy up or like make him, and like things I'm only avoiding saying about certain stuff because like there's way worse ones out there.
You've heard definitely before.
So I just don't understand how basically like it's a legalized gang.
Yeah. And what I don't get is like how after, again, like you said, all these things that have happened before, like why would you think that like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like doing something that's like, it might not be directly kind of like the same thing, but like, again, anything in the lines of like harming someone or, you know, type of violence or hurting, like any of that type of stuff. It's like, you should just rule that out, because literally something's going to happen like it did. And now you're.
And this is, I feel like, I'm not going to say every year, but at least like every other year, there's something like this that comes out about some frat somewhere.
Yeah.
So I just don't get the purpose of it. And I get, you know, it's easy to say like, oh, how could you even like want to join that? But there are some people that genuinely were either like picked on or like genuinely do not have friends. And there's like an issue of like, not to make this a whole like therapy session, but like male loneliness. And then being able to join something like that gives you a sense of belonging. Same thing with like joining a sports team or joining like a social club. Yeah. Where it's like, I have I have something that like they accept me and I'm a part of it.
Yeah. Just like you got to pay for it. This. Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
And like in that sense where it's like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I get treated like shit for a week, but I get to be in this house with a bunch of other guys, make friends. I'm basically in this clique.
Brothers for life.
Yeah. Like that's how and then I get to throw parties and, you know, parties, there's girls, and like there's people, like if people are struggling to make friends or like do all those kinds of things, like that's enticing.
Yeah.
But I just think you're preying on somebody that's like,
if they don't know,
just be a friend. Like don't take advantage of them in that sense.
Punch me to be my friend. Yeah.
And this guy, like obviously I don't know him, but he looked cool. Like he was a good academic. I believe he played sport and he was doing like music stuff, like marching band stuff. So, and he seemed like a chill guy. Like I don't know. Obviously, it's probably more of like a networking thing because it's like, oh, like if you join, it's good to join a frat because you get this network of people that you can look to when it's time to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Even for me, if I was even considering it, once it got to like, it was like, oh yeah, guys, like stand in line, we're gonna punch you in the chest. It's like,
all right, where's the door?
There's usually like a bunch of fraternities and sororities at like other like probably like more than 10, if not even more at a school. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna go try the other one. Let's see what they're doing over there.
I would just ask before ever entering it or getting into it, like, so like, what's your initiation look like?
Yeah,
like, am I just doing community service? Am I helping some people out at like the children's? Oh no, we're punching you. Sorry, what?
Punching you in the chest?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
All of us, and it's like 8 football players.
Like they're just looking at you like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go. But thanks though for letting me know that, But yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah, like let people know.
Good luck with that.
I'm not about to go in there, spend my money, and be like, oh, wow, this is exciting, and then something like that around the lines that happens. Like, no, bro.
No, but I'm so good on that. I just don't.
I'll block it and punch them.
Yeah. You're getting jumped by the whole house.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I could beat y'all, y'all gotta let me in.
My friend.
Yeah, this is my house now.
But yeah, there's that, and then it's like anything tied to that at that point. Because like, to me, I think of frats as like alcohol, drugs, guys that like most cases, not to like sound grim, but like 9 times out of 10 is like I've heard of it where it's like sexual assault is an issue too.
Yeah, some type of abuse.
And even when I was at Temple, my freshman year, I was like school, work, and partying on weekends, and it was mad fun. Then that summer, there was something with a frat where like there's something of sexual assault, and then nobody was throwing parties because it was just like that happened, and we don't need any more of that, and they were being very on top of it. And then the following year, COVID happened. So there was really nothing going on. Mm-hmm. So it was just, and then if you're a part of that frat, you're like, oh, isn't that the frat that like did X, Y, and Z? And like now that's attached to you for the rest of life.
True.
I just don't understand. And I hate that like things like that happen. And unfortunately, unless there's a hard like college denounces or like disapproves of frats in general, because a lot of them are affiliated with the school, because unfortunately, the guys that used to be a part of it or women that used to be a part of it, if they make a lot of money, they're making a lot of donations to that frat house as well as the school. So it's hard for them to probably be like, yeah, like no frats, no Greek life. Yeah. But until they do that, unfortunately, there's probably going to be more instances like this in the future because of hazing.
Yeah.
And it's happened before as well with like teams. So like I think Penn State football obviously had like Jerry Sandusky like way back in the day. But even after that, there was another situation a couple years ago where there was like initiation rookie thing, hazing that ended up somebody either getting hurt or killed. And it's like,
yeah, we don't need that. We don't need people to be doing that stuff to you. So it sucks. It sucks again that schools, people like you said send their kids off to these schools, and then everything's going well, and then one day you just get that phone call. So yeah, that would suck.
It's terrifying, bro. I don't wish that on anybody.
Nope, definitely not.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, prayers out to him and his family.
Definitely, yeah.
I hate that things like that even happen. Hopefully the rest of the people involved like turn themselves in as well and just go about the due process.
And you said this happened the 26th?
Yeah, like the end of February, like last couple of days of February. So
wow, so that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy that they haven't like got the people just because they're associated with the frat. So I don't know how that's really like going on.
I guess it's just kind of like picking out like who was there or something like that, or maybe just people not coming forward. Or
I just feel like, I mean, again, I don't know how all this goes. I'll just be like, yo, everybody who's part of that frat, you're coming to the station.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna interrogate, which is just ask questions.
Probably what's happening. I'd assume, or like, or like the other pledges. Like, it's like, yo, like, just tell us, bro. Like, nothing's gonna happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like somebody passed, like please help us figure this out so it doesn't continue to happen.
True. Yeah, it's more important.
Yeah, I'm glad I did my 4 years and I ain't got to worry about none of
I
that.
think my brother, when he was going to college, wanted to join a frat or something, some fraternity. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he ever did. But
did they start punching chests? Did you ever ask him?
No. But he never joined it, and I think the main reason why was because like it was on that line of like again you have to pay money, and I think in order to get it was like dues. A good amount of money, and it was just like there's no way
for what?
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like it's a little bit too much. Again, if you're rich, you got that money like that, you're just like, oh, I just want to be a part of this group. Sure, go ahead, but it's like, let's be real. If you're like living in the trenches like us, it's just like I don't. And
you're also paying for tuition.
Yeah, I don't think we're in any room or any way to be trying to pay for something like that.
Hell no, bro.
Yeah,
I don't.
So yeah, be safe out there. If you're ever thinking of college and you thinking about a, fraternity, sorority, any of those things. Yeah, just be careful. I would definitely ask that question. Like, what is your initiation? What we got to do? What does this all look like within the first week that I'm here? You know, like what's my 90 days looking like? So yeah, definitely be cautious of that and look out for that.
I just didn't know that. Like, I feel like where we grew up and what we grew up around, like we didn't even know that stuff was like capable or possible. So
yeah, only on like movies and TVs, and even in that sense, I was just like that wasn't the first thing in my mind. Like, oh, like I need to like look out for this because this is what I need to have in my experience. Like, no, I didn't even think like that.
Did you ever see anything like that, like LaSalle or anything?
No, not really. I mean, I've heard of people just like talk about the parties, but nothing on the lines of like any of that. Like I'll see like during on campus people would have like their like events or something like that for
formals and all that.
Yeah, like all of that, but nothing on the lines of like again the partying part of it because LaSalle was super small, so it's like nothing on campus. I would say unless you had an actual place, that was probably where it would be taking place at.
You didn't see anybody like in class just wearing like a zebra suit or something, just getting hazed?
I probably definitely saw something. I just genuinely couldn't remember. But definitely it was probably something, but not to like that extreme. But for sure,
thank God,
yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen maybe something, but I can't remember. The only thing I seen was a bunch of like Roman kids going there for like a day. I'd just be walking to class and see a bull and some black pants and a bright purple like sweater. I'm just like, okay.
That's my school.
yeah. But yeah, that was about it. I didn't see anything too crazy.
Yeah, it's spooky out here.
Yeah.
But I think that's we all agree here that that's unfortunately shouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get I don't get the correlation. Like, because like, even like gangs is like, oh, like we gotta jump you in. It's like we just gotta beat you up a bunch just to like.
Yeah, but in that sense, it's like you already know what you're getting yourself into. It's like it's violent. You're most likely.
It's like, oh, you have to catch a body to like
you understand kind of what you're signing up for when you're signing up for like a pledge. Like
it's
again,
like
this is in a sense of supposed to be associated with like school. So it's like it's kind of weird that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna join this thing associated with school, which I'm assuming has to be a safe place, and the next thing you know, I'm getting punched. Like that's just so weird. You don't think about that.
Or like just getting assaulted, or like you do some crazy drug or something.
Exactly. So it's like doesn't make sense.
Why can't we just do it like a game show?
True.
Like, why does it have to be so like violent and all that? Like, why can't obviously if you run a frat and you're like an officer or something, like you're president or whatever, and you want to like make it fun. Why does anybody have to get like hurt or like die or like assaulted or scarred for life? Why can't it just be like, all right, we doing Wipeout. Whoever gets through this course, like you a part of the frat.
Kind of like what you were saying with the bull, like excluding people, like, oh, only girls can go in, like whatever that case is.
Yeah.
It's like, if you really are that cool of a group, then you should let everybody have their shot. Yeah. And whoever gets in, gets in. It shouldn't be none of this, oh, I bought my way in. That's how I see it.
So like y'all can't come in here, like y'all gonna F up my
bro.
It's like, then you're not like that.
Pledges
Like,
is just pay to win. That's all it is.
like, if you got the sauce, then just do your sauce.
You think you're really that cool because you can throw money at me? Well, how can you jump on these bounce balls and get to the end of the course? I don't think so.
Do some Wheel of Fortune, deal or no deal, something.
Something, yeah.
The hole in the wall. I don't know.
Hole in the wall would be funny, yeah.
A pie eating contest. Make it cool. You
Smarter
know?
than a fifth grader.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like,
Show me your
at least
skills.
at least
exactly.
you know you're
That's
smart.
school related, you know? That would make sense.
Or like a talent show. Like teams will do that too. It's like, oh, you could do a talent show, or like they'll make rookies like sing karaoke for the whole team. Like it's still like, oh, kind of embarrassing, but still like you can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be like you freaking lose a tooth or something, like getting beat up in a warehouse, bro. I was like, what do you mean? An abandoned warehouse.
It's not for that. What are we on?
I'm like, yo, like it would be way more fun. Or like some Fall Guys type stuff.
True, yeah.
Or like,
Any
like
type of like elimination thing.
5-on-5 basketball tournament. Whatever team wins is in. You got 5 pledges.
True, yeah.
Or
be like Squid Games without all the the dying.
Or like we got this whole ass house, this frat house. Set up all the TVs. Let's run this COD tournament real quick. Let's see who really about it.
Yeah, bro.
Fortnite solos.
Yeah, see what
do
you
the
can
whole
do.
battle royale.
Ones, yeah, that'll be dope for sure.
I'm just throwing these ideas out there so nobody has to get hurt. You know,
exactly.
Take it if you will.
No, you need to take it, not if you will. Take it.
I mean, if none of these fit, just use these as to spark inspiration. Yeah,
default templates.
Swap it in and out, or they have to prove that they have some sort of like skill that can help y'all. It's like, yo, like this guy could cook his ass off. This bull's really good at this. This bull could like fix a broken pipe.
Say like there's like certain roles inside this house.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, we're in need of a cook.
You an EMT? You're in.
Yeah, we need that. You're a cook. Show us what you can cook.
Yeah.
It's almost like a job interview. So,
you bilingual? We need you. Get in here.
True, because there ain't nobody in here that speaks Spanish. We just need one.
We got 8 Connors in here. We need one.
Right. We need one Jose. All right, I'm stop.
Please. But yeah, it's so much easier that way. So on that note, be kind to each other. Yes. Don't beat each other up, bro. It's not the early 2000s no more. We don't gotta do none of this weird stuff. Like accept each other as you are. In my personal opinion, just don't even try to join the frat to begin with. You can network in other ways. There's 100%. There's other school clubs. It's not a fraternity, but you can still have that opportunity.
True. And you won't feel like your life is being like clinged on to something for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Because even though you might be like, oh, this is cool, I got connections, like I feel like that joint just follows you all the way until you literally earn the ground. It's just like you don't want something to pop up where you're like, oh, you owe me something or you got to do this.
Yeah, and then you don't also want to be that guy who's like in their 30s and 40s still throwing up they pledge. Like what was it? When I was coming back from Mexico, bro, I had a layover in Dallas and there was like 8 guys in like purple hoodies with like their frat whatever's on them. And they're just like, oh, he was good, man. And like walking past the other bull had it. Like they weren't together. They just all saw each other's hoodies. Like, oh, like you were part of this chapter. And bro, they're like 50 plus. I'm like, this is
that's what
sad.
I'm saying. I can't do that.
Like you gotta let that go.
That's what I'm saying. I can't be in that age and then like I have people telling me like you need to wear this or it's like that. Or it's just like they start almost in a sense like I wouldn't say it, but kind of like brainwashing you, just to like, make you be like, oh, I got to do this for the rest of my life.
Maybe having like conventions and shit. It's like, we don't need to be doing that. Or like the dancing in lines. And I don't know if you ever seen them at parties or whatever. It's just mad annoying. And God forbid you try to do anything like that, you get jumped.
Yeah.
Or like just NFL players now, they're like 10 plus years in the league and they like pledge Q or whatever. I think not Carson, Jalen Hurts pledged Q or something like that. And his rookie season, he was throwing it up and like sticking his tongue out and shit. They some freaks, bro.
Like freaks, hey.
But like they still be doing their dances and shit. It's like, bro, you've been out that.
Now he don't even crack a smile.
Yeah, bro, like that rookie year. But you can. There's an early video of him like he scored a touchdown. He threw up like the Q joint because I think it's like you do it the Omega both way. But he did that. He stuck his tongue out, a little freak bull.
After that, you're just like,
yeah. He hired a PR team. It was like, yo, shut the fuck up.
All that.
Leave that alone.
It's done.
Yeah. Hit your gritty and go back to the sideline.
Leave it behind you. Here, repeat after me. Behind you, because it's not happening anymore.
He got his whole PR team and his whole everything team is like all women. So it's like, Jalen, stop that shit.
Yeah.
Right now.
You look good, but
tone it back. It's corny. It's corny, bro.
Trust me.
It was corny in school. It's corny now. Like,
if you want those numbers to go up, you gotta stop that.
Yeah. But yeah, just leave that alone. There's no need for it. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Hopefully by next week, I'm assuming we're going to be having our Korra episode
We will.
versus Aang. I'm going to prepare the
100%.
arguments because I don't think you've seen any of it, right? People just talking and comparing Korra to Aang. I'm going to prepare
haven't.
all the things that people have said because I
Okay.
want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it and see where you stand.
Okay.
We might agree, we might not, but leave that for the next episode.
Gotcha.
Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.